Being a creative is like a man starting his rap career and everybody telling him that he ain't gonna never be nothing. A lot of y'all know deep down inside you hate your job. You're only getting enough money to pay your bills, but you're not getting enough inspiration to fulfill. So there's this talk around like creatives being lazy. Creatives are not lazy. And I need anybody to understand this. Like, I think a lot of times people who are built amongst survival or people who just only, let's just say, if you are living a lifestyle to where you are only viewing life through you working a 9 to 5, a lot of times they won't understand creatives who are actually taking risks, and who's actually stepping outside of the box and doing something outside of the norm. Or even too, like, because I feel like it's being a creative in some type of way, you're breaking generational curses. So I feel like in that aspect too, a lot of people are not going to understand that, especially the older generation. I feel as though they don't really understand creatives like that, because it's like, what do you mean that you about to bet on yourself? What does it mean? What does that mean that you actually about to take a risk and do something that you never done and go against the system? You get what I'm saying? But I think, like, even too with my own journey, I'm realizing as a creative, like, I got to a place within myself where nothing else was fulfilling me rather than just really doing what God has called me to do, which is connected to my creativity. And this is to anybody watching this as well too. I want you to understand something. In the beginning, whatever it is, like, this is for my people who are creatives, who are feeling like the outcasts, who don't feel like they fit in, who feel as though they are, what's the word? They just don't fit in, and they just feel as though like no one understands them, but they're super creative. They have all these gifts, they have all these talents. I want you to act on them, and I don't want you to stop that because you have people around you, whether that's family, friends, or just peers, that's telling you that it's not valuable because it don't got no money to it. Creativity, let me say this: art is still valuable even if it doesn't get sold. And I'm not even talking about an art piece that you're just painting. Art in general, that can be in your creativity, in your music. Can be creativity in your business. That can be creativity in what you say and how you speak, your podcast, your YouTube, your makeup business, whatever it is, right? Or that thing that you know how to create really, really well. Your art, the thing that you're creating, still has value even if it doesn't have a dollar sign attached to it. And I had to constantly tell myself that, because I used to think like, dang, like, is it even, I went through my seasons of my life where I felt as though like, dang, is this art even worthy, if it's not getting money made from it? Because I had a lot of people in my ear trying to tell me and put like little nuggets in my ear to tell me that, like, hey, you need a job. And at the moment, I probably did. But it's like when you have God talking to you about something that God has called you to do, whether that's connected to your creativity, right? It's connected to your inner gifts. You got to listen to God's voice and block out every noise that does not sound like what God has told you to do, because people will literally tell you the opposite of what God is calling you to do. And it happened way too many times for me. But when you know that you're gifted, when you know that there's something special about you that you're creating and you're putting out into the world, don't let nobody or anything stop that. Because a lot of times you got to think about it too. Like, when people are being super critical about your art or the things that you're creating, is simply because they may be projecting. They may not see that in themselves, or they may be inspired and don't know how to really like let you know, like, hey, I'm inspired by what you're doing. Inspired by what you're creating. Or even too, they just never seen it happen before, so they don't think that it can happen for you. You know, it just can be so much. But I think, like, even too, like, as a creative, I learned that, like, being a creative is like a man starting his rap career and everybody telling him that he ain't gonna never be nothing. It's like that same feeling. Like, I see what people are talking about now when man is starting his rap career and everybody's saying, oh, that music trash, cut it off, I don't want to hear that. But the whole time it's like he really underrated and his music is really dope. But there's people in his ear and people in his corner, because they so used to seeing a certain version of him, they don't want to accept the fact that he can grow into be a great artist. And that's why, even too, I think, like, with creatives, you got to get outside of your hometown, even if you can't physically, right? I'm in my hometown right now, but you gotta, like, even too, with your creative abilities, creativity is spiritual, and that's what people don't realize, that creativity is spiritual. Like, before you're even able to make money from it, and I keep saying money because, you know, I'm gonna get to that, but before you're even able to make money from it, being able to create something that can impact others' lives, being able to create something that can go onto the internet and other people love it and other people are needing it, like, they need your gift, that's spiritual. Like, and people don't realize that. Like, that's why I think, like, people who are in survival mode don't really understand creatives, because it's like they're acting through, like, they're moving through spirituality more than they're moving through the physicality. And the physicality of the world is telling you, hey, chase the American dream. And sometimes at the same time, you can do both. You can work a job and be a creative. But from my journey, I had to go full in. And God was telling me, like, hey, I want you to quit your job. I didn't quit my job fast enough. Hey, I'm getting rid of this job. I want you to go full fledged acting out on your creativity. I want you to use those gifts you have within you, because one thing I realize is that the American dream can cloud you so much, and definitely too, like capitalism, like going to a job every single day can cloud you up so much that you're so busy, whether with your life, your kids, trying to keep up with your schedule, or trying to make sure things are afloat, trying to keep up with your bills, that sometimes it can get to the point to where you literally drown out your creativity. You stop working on the things that really move you. You stop doing those things because you're so busy with life. And I understand it because I've been there before. But I'm in a place now where I can fully act on my creativity. And whenever I don't act on it, I don't feel fulfilled. But you just got to make time for it. Like, even too, like, I remember working a job, and at the time, like, I was really interested in graphic design. So before I went full fledged with it, after losing my job, I was still doing graphics on the side. Same thing with you. Like, let's just say if you work a job right now and it takes up a lot of your time, there's some time where you have free time. And if you don't, you need to get free time at least one day for yourself before you be burnt out. Make time for your creativity, because at a lot of times when you think about it, when you go to these jobs, you are literally making other people rich. You're spending time and hours on the clock making other people rich. And a lot of y'all know deep down inside you hate your job. Like, and like, that's why I always try to talk life into people and tell them, like, hey, there's more out there. That doesn't just stop at the misery of this job that you hate. It doesn't just stop at going and doing this schedule every single day that you know that it's like making you feel so drained, but you're only getting enough money to pay your bills, but you're not getting enough inspiration to fulfill. You get what I'm saying? Oh, that was a bar. But it's like, it's so much more out there. And like I said, I remember even too, like, trying to explain creativity to my parents, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm really different. I remember talking to my parents and just trying to explain to them, like, hey, I'm really different. There's some things about me, like, I know how to connect these messages that's different than everybody else. Like, I'm just different. I'm not saying I'm better, but I'm different. I'm creative. Like, I have that thing, and I have a great spark right now. And you know what my parents told me? Get a job. They told me get a job. And I'm pretty sure the that's the truth for a lot of other people's lives as well too. But I learned, like, even to now, I've stopped chasing after my parents' validation, because a lot of times you got to think about it. Even to the older generation, a lot of them did not chase their dreams. They were just through survival mode, just trying to survive, just trying to stay afloat. Or they probably didn't really have time to put into it, so they can't really see that for you. So it's like, I'm at a point now where it's like, I don't hate them for even telling me that, but it's like I don't chase their validation. And I'm at a point now where I'm going to do what God is calling me to do, regardless of who don't like it. I'm going to act out on my creativity, because I know there is somebody out there that needs my art. And that's the same thing with anybody watching this. There's somebody out there that needs your creativity. There's somebody out there that needs that thing that you have within inside you. There's somebody out there that needs to hear your voice. There's somebody out there that needs to see that crochet thing that you've been creating. There's somebody out there that may have needs your music, because it's going to, like, literally open up someone else's way of music, like a new way of music. Like, there's something out there that's so brilliant about you that someone else need. And I think that's so powerful too, because we think, like, growing up, if you've been told, like, okay, you have value because you work a job, you think about how rare it is to really even hear from people, your peers or your family members or friends around you, that, hey, you have value because you have great talents in you. You have great gifts that God has placed within you that you just need to use. And it's not connected to a job. It's not connected to that college degree. No, it's not connected to anything tied to capitalism. It's those gifts that when you were born, they were already placed. You just had to get aligned with it. And I think, like, that brings so much closure to me now, because I realized, like, I was chasing so many things in my life. Like, I remember when I turned 18, I had that talk with my parents where it was just like, okay, college or the army, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And I felt so pressured at the time, but whole time I knew back in my head, I want to be a creative. I want to be someone that's like, I want to use those gifts that God has placed within me. And there was so much years of my life going by where I was not told that. And it was probably because, people just didn't see that part of me. But when I seen that part of me, I acted on it. I stopped looking around and see, oh, who gonna validate it, who gonna like it, who gonna comment, who gonna repost it. Because art is still valuable, even if it gets no likes, even if it gets no comments, even if it gets no reposts, before it touches the internet. And this is another powerful gem I learned. Before you put something out so great, before it touches the internet, you got to breathe life into it. That's why I said being a creative is spiritual. You have to breathe life into whatever it is that you're creating, because as soon as you put it out in the world, there's going to be people that's going to try to tear it down. There's going to be people that's going to try to tell you, that I seen that people try to do that. They ain't gonna work. There's gonna be people out here that try to criticize what you do, like, I don't like that, or make you feel bad about it. So you take your art down, or you stop selling your art, or you stop trying to push your art into the world to impact others. It's going to be so much noise. And a lot of times the noise is not going to be the same noise that you told yourself before you put it out there, but you got to breathe life into it. That's why I said it's spiritual. You breathe life into the things that you create. And so when it touches the internet, when it goes viral, when it hits all those clickbaits, when people are already making clips of it and already talking about it, it's too late. I've already breathed life onto it, and there's somebody that needs to hear this. Like, I had to start looking at my art like this, because I'm so creative, and I'm creative in my expression and how I talk. I'm creative in the things that I do. Like, on the computer, I'm very good at graphic design. I'm very good at pairing messages. I'm very good at telling people different perspectives that they've never even heard. That there's somebody out there that needs my gift. If I don't show up, another person is suffering. And I had to go through so much cognitive, like, I had to go through so much growth within myself to where I realized that I'm needed. My art is needed. My creativity is needed. And it's not needed for myself. It's needed because somebody else out there needs what I bring to the table. They need those gifts I bring, that those gifts that God has placed in me. There's somebody out there that needs your gifts that God has placed within you. And I always realize that when you look at your purpose, or like, even whatever it is, it could be whatever it is that you are pursuing in life. When you look at that deeper than just you benefiting from it, it will change your whole perspective, because you will understand there's a responsibility of you showing up. There's a responsibility of you being a creative. Somebody needs that music that you're putting out. Somebody needs that makeup, that makeup line that you have. Somebody needs that somebody needs your voice. Let's just say if you sing really good, somebody needs you to sing, because that's healing them, or it reminds them of someone that passed away, or it's helping someone cope. Someone needs your singing because it may be breaking shackles and bonds upon their mind and their body and their soul, and helping them realize, like, hey, there's beauty to life. You have to realize the gifts that you bring inside of you are so powerful that it can wake somebody else up, that it can make somebody else feel inspired. And I like to look at creativity like this. When you go on the internet, let's just say I'm very big on TikTok. When you go on TikTok, right? Think about it. Somebody is using someone else's trending audio, a trending audio that somebody said, I'm going to take the chance today and set my phone up. Somebody's using that same trending audio that somebody else took the chance to make. Then when they blow up from it, guess what? That brings more exposure and more impact. So it's an impact type of thing. Let's just even thinking about it like this. Let's just say if somebody's preaching through the phone and you've been praying and asking God to reveal something to you, and then you go on your phone and that same video is saying the same thing that God wanted to reveal to you. That's spiritual. Beyond from that, let's just say if there's a hairstyle creativity goes so deeply. If there's a hairstyle that you were doing and it goes viral and somebody remakes that or stitches your video, creativity is just a constant, like, how do I say this in words that make it make sense? Creativity is just like a constant 360. It's a constant 360 motion, because it's constantly going around, it's constantly spreading. And it's like, with your creativity, it's like you jumping onto a Ferris wheel, right? And just getting into the motion, that's what you got to do. Like, you got to understand the value of your creativity. If there's something that you create, if there's something that you push out, those gifts that you have within you, that God has placed within you, that you can create to push out, is spiritual. Now somebody else needs that. And now that I realize that in my own life, oh baby, how I show up is differently. Like, I rarely let people get into my plans. If I got something I got to do, one of my creative expressions is podcasting. I'm not letting nobody stop me from doing my videos. I'm setting this phone up. You can't let nobody get in your ear about that thing that you're creating, man. Like, it's just so deep, it's so powerful. And it's just like, Like I said, like creativity is so dope. Even if nobody told you that you are valuable or you have so much purpose or you're so creative or what you're doing is so amazing, it's still amazing. Even if nobody's telling you, you got to know how dope you are. Even if no one's giving you validation, even if no one's standing in the crowds clapping for you, even if no one's telling you, hey, I love what you do, you got to know that what you're pushing out is needed. And it's not even on a way of ego. You got to remove the ego from it. Remove the ego from it and understand that what you're doing is so powerful that your gifts are needed to solve a problem for somebody else. And how does that look? I'm going to give an example. Let's just say if I sold clothes, but I had a brand that was more Christian like. I want to put clothes out there to help people feel fashionable in their streetwear, but I want to change the trajectory. I don't want to do a clothing line where it's more provocative. I don't want to do a clothing line where it's not really, showing the expression of Christianity. I want to show something different. You got to put it out there and understand that there's value in what you're pushing and what you're creating, and put it out there for other people to see. Put it out there for other people to experience, because you're solving a problem, in society. But that's just that, yeah, and never stop creating. Never stop creating. I think as humans, we're always supposed to create, and I feel as though when we're not doing that thing, when we're not creating, when we're not using those gifts that God has placed within us, like we start to feel drained, we start to feel tired, and many times you start to not know your purpose because you've been around so many people who've made you feel as though, or even yourself, like you've been drowning that part out of you for so long, or keeping yourself busy with every single thing that's not called to the thing that God has called you to do, which is connected to those inner gifts, which is your creative expression and whatever that is. But you always got to stay connected to that and understand that even before your creativity hits the net, before you sell it to someone, before somebody even knows about it, is valuable, you know? And that's just that.